guys.
Yeah.
So Adam and Brock, you guys are brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Let's give you guys some stats. So before this month, Adam, what was your biggest month before this month?
I think 6.5.
Okay, so 6.5 families in a month. What about you, Brock?
Like 10-5.
Okay, 10-5. And over the past 2 weeks, guys, you guys have been absolutely crushing it. Super, super consistent. And I think both of you have done well over 10. I think Brock, you're like at 14 in the last 2 weeks. So you guys are just coming out, dynamic duo, absolutely crushing it. So I just want to give some people some perspective on what has changed for you guys, because a lot of people get this idea that like, oh, the people that come in and do good, they just came in and like crushed it right off the bat. You guys have done some build up. So before we get into that, guys, if you guys could each kind of tell your story, what you were doing before this, you know, how you got into FFL, the whole thing.
Yeah, so I got into FFL because I was actually going to be recruited into Symmetry. Not a lot of people know about that, but my friend was like telling me, he's like, hey, Brock, you know, I think we can make like 25,000 a month selling life insurance. I was like, there's no way. And then eventually my friend Felix, he actually found Alex through a job posting. And I told my friend Felix to prove to me that it was worth doing. And so I quit my job doing data entry and committed right at the beginning of the new year. So I've been here since January, and it's a journey and I love it. So your friend Felix, shout out Felix.
Felix wants some credit for getting the Tuttle Bros here.
Exactly.
We'll give him the credit. He deserves it. All right. So Brock, you've been here about 6 months. And then you were doing data entry. So no insurance experience and no sales experience. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Got it. And then Adam, what's your story?
I'm kind of all over the place. So I was going to Charlotte, UNC Charlotte College, and I was working at a car wash. I was a manager there. And then one guy that came in to the car wash a lot, he worked for Globe Life, and he ended up recruiting me there. And that was like my first sales anything type job. And it was good. You know, I learned a lot about, you know, the culture, and it was really weird though, because I would, instead of door knocking or, you know, cold call leads or whatever, I would go to businesses, and I would walk into the back of a Walmart and start like selling the employees in the break room. I don't know if that's illegal or what, but it was, I learned a lot. And then after that, I did this thing that everyone was doing from high school. It's called Town Square Interactive. Like a lot of my friends work there. A lot of people, you know, that are older, or younger, whatever. And that was okay. Didn't do that for very long. And Brock worked at Starbucks for a little bit, and then I worked at Starbucks after him. And then it was right after Starbucks. I was there about 11 months. Brock joined FFL, and him and Felix lived with Brock for a little bit. Brock got in, and then that's how I got in. He kind of proved it. He would keep saying like, you know, when are you going to join? When are you going to join? He would come in.
I was like, Adam, I made this sale.
Yeah.
Check out this sale I made.
Yeah. And I didn't believe it, you know, because of my bad experience with Globe Life. But it's definitely, it's real, you know?
Yeah. So you've been here how many months now?
I started May 1st. So
3?
Yeah.
Barely? Okay, so absolutely crushing it. When you were, also I love when people say like, that's how I got in. And remember, Mom, it makes me feel like we're all like in prison, and it's like, what are you in for, dude? Every time someone says like, that's how I got in. But
salvation.
Yeah, exactly. So, and guys, that's obviously totally a joke, but it's just funny because we always say like, oh, that's how I got in. And it makes it seem like this like thing. But anyway,
it's a club or something.
Yeah. It's a secret club of selling insurance where we all do really well for our family and other people's families, which is awesome. So, all right. So going back to Brock, when you heard about this opportunity first, did you think that it was too good to be true? Because I know a lot of people say that.
Totally. Yeah. And I was so skeptical. I've heard you say about how you were skeptical, and I can totally relate. So
Yeah. So you just thought like, there's no way Felix is actually doing that. He's like, he's full of it, right?
Yeah, well, you know, the compensation rate for one, I was like, over 100, what? And then it's like, how do you like, it's like, where does the money come from? The advancement, you know, I was just so confused. I had no idea what life insurance even was and like how valuable it was.
Yeah.
Um,
Are you
yeah.
guys, are you guys nervous?
I'm actually pretty calm.
Yeah, I'm having a good time.
Surprisingly,
Yeah.
like I thought I was gonna be a whole lot nervous,
Yeah.
a whole lot more nervous.
You guys are chilling. I love that. All right, guys, I'm just wondering because a lot of people underestimate, like when I first got on my team call and I was a new agent and I was like, what the heck are they going to ask me? I was really, really nervous, guys. So give them a shout out just for being on here and like being willing to help us, because a lot of times when I ask them to do the team call, some people are like, heck no, I'm not doing that. I don't even know what the heck to say. So guys, the point of this is to let you know, like these guys are just two real guys, been through a lot of the same experiences the rest of us have. And it's like, hey, now we're going to get on here and share our story and what the heck we're doing and have you guys see how simple that is. So, all right, Adam, how old are you?
I am 24.
24 years old. Okay. I'm just wondering because you were like, I was going to UNC. So I love that. All right. So you guys have been here a couple months. When you got started, you guys were doing a couple families here, a couple families there. What's changed for you guys in the last 2 weeks that now you guys are submitting like 10K a week, like animals?
Well, after we got back from the builders conference, shout out to you for hosting that. That was amazing. I was so fired up, and I think Adam was too. We just got straight to it. We were dedicated to serving. But I mean, I was doing the same thing I was always doing, like getting on 7:30, like with Alex and the team, every single dial day. But I've had some really good policy reviews in the past 2 weeks. And I love policy reviews because it's like, these are people that are already paying for their insurance. They like their insurance. It's just, we like 90% of the time I'm replacing their policies because we have such good products. But yeah, I've just been booking appointments and doing policy reviews, overcoming objections, you know, even if they already have insurance, I'm just try my best to get in the home to help them. So
yeah. So getting a little more uncomfortable, right? Because I used to do that too. Like I'd be on the phone, Brock, and someone would be like, hey, you know, thanks for calling. I already have this taken care of. And I'd be like, okay, sounds good, right? Because I didn't realize at that time how good the products we have. So when you're getting out to these homes now, Brock, are you going in the field or are you doing telesales?
I'm all in the field.
Okay. So you get out to the field. What are some of the things on these people's policies that you're seeing, like that you need to get them a better product?
Well, they have like guaranteed issue and they don't understand that they can qualify for immediate coverage. I could save them money most of the time. Sometimes they have like universal life policies that are going to expire on them when they're like 70 years old. The universal life is going to expire when they're like 75. And then they have a lot of cash value that they don't want to lose. So I'm replacing their policy, getting them whole life, and then they're getting a cash value check. So there's so many different ways we can help people just by reviewing their policies.
Yeah.
It's awesome. So
yeah, I love that. And if you guys are taking notes, guys, that's something that you want to take a note on, because especially if you didn't have experience before this, like I didn't, and like other people who didn't come from insurance, we don't realize that like when someone says they have insurance, that doesn't mean they have state regulated products. That doesn't mean they have a good premium. What could have happened is they have an agent who's not like us, not from Family First Life, that comes out, tells them they have something, doesn't tell them that they're going to, doesn't tell them that they're going to expire, doesn't tell them that it's accidental only. And what happens is there's a lot of these agents that work in a captive space, guys, that they need to make that sale so bad that they'll tell the client anything. So that's so important, guys, is when you're on the phones and someone says, hey, and this should be a note, right? When we say, Brock, what did you change over the last 2 weeks that you're actually crushing it? And he says, I've started to do a lot of policy reviews. What that means is when the client says, hey, I have something, I don't need you guys to come out here. Brock's like, I'm coming out anyway. So Brock, real quick, can we role play that real quick? We won't do the whole thing, but what would you say to me? I pick up the phone. I say, hey, Brock, thanks for calling. I already got that taken care of. What do you say?
I say, yeah, that's actually why I'm calling. Have you gotten your policies in the mail?
No, I mean, I don't think so. I might have like a paper or something.
Yeah, that's actually why I'm calling. So my job is just to come out there and help you get your policy in the mail. And then we do the policy review. It takes like 5 minutes. I can be out there at either 3 o'clock or 7:30, which of those works best for you. So getting straight to the appointment is like the best thing you can do with scheduling policy reviews.
Got it. That's actually what, yeah, guys, that's actually why I'm calling. Did you get anything in the mail? Brock, if I say, yes, I got it in the mail, then what?
Yes, you actually got in the mail. Perfect. Yeah. So my job's just through the policy review. It's real quick. So if you could just have that policy out for me when I get there, it takes like 10 minutes. I could be out there at 3 or 7:30. Which of those works best for you?
Perfect, guys. That's golden, right? So it's just my job to do the policy review. And then notice how Brock is literally giving me yes or yes answers or yes questions. He's not saying like, would that work for you? Or what time do you think? He's saying 3:30 or 7, which of those do you choose? Because then it's not really giving me an option to say no. Like, I guess I choose 3:30, right? Because Brock's so on it. So I love that. So Adam, over the last 2 weeks, you've been crushing it. You went from 6.5 in a month to now 6.5 in like 3 days. What are some of the things that kind of clicked for you, or some of the differences that made?
Majority of it is
Lead spin.
yeah, definitely. Because previously, I screwed up. I started the business and I spent like $5,000 on leads.
Okay.
And that was over like 2 weeks, and there were super old leads all over different counties and whatnot. So I was really inefficient in my first 2 months, and I wasn't really taking it serious. And after the builders conference, it definitely made me think.
Yeah. So
You have to make some sacrifices, and talk to Toby a little bit, and we've made a new schedule for me. So that has helped. I'm spending around 1,400 a week now on leads.
okay, well, 1,400 for 10 back is not a bad deal, if you ask me.
Yeah. So
Okay.
that's the biggest thing that has changed.
Yeah. So Adam, I think you go through a lot of what a lot of new agents go through, and we're going to kind of get into that. But when you say like, I wasn't really taking it seriously or making sacrifices before, and now that I am, specifically, like, what are some of those things? Like, are you getting up early? Are you making more dials? Like, obviously your lead spend is more consistent, but what are some of the things like in your personal life that you're like, hey, if I really want this to work, like, I got to stop doing that?
Yeah. Some of the main things are, going out to play basketball or whatnot, hanging out with friends, or, going to, because we live with 2 other guys, and it's just like, oh, you want to go out to eat? It's like, and it's like prime dialing time, like right when people get off work. So yeah, those are the biggest ones.
Yeah. No, I love that. I did the exact same thing. Like, I'd be like, oh, you guys want to go to happy hour on Friday at 4 p.m. I'm there, even if I didn't meet my goals. Right. So that's like, guys, a lot of this stuff, and I'm talking about this stuff on purpose, is like, it seems so simple. Like, you're like, Marissa, how do I sell more insurance? And you're like, Marissa told me I could sell more insurance if I stopped going out with my friends. And you're like, that seems dumb. But like, that's actually the reality. Because the biggest thing that holds people back in the business is not the leads. It's not the sales. It's not the phone objections. It's not the products. It's that I'm not dedicating enough time, and I'm not dedicating the time that I could be to income producing activities. So Adam, you're crushing it now. Adam, what would you say? So let's talk about leads, because everyone wants to know that. What, you spend 1,400 a week. What kind of leads do you get?
Just Facebook final expense.
From like Speakeasy, or what's your vendors?
Control.
Okay, so Facebook final expense. You how many leads does the $1,400 get you?
It's probably like 60,
70?
65, 70.
Okay.
I don't know off the top of my head.
So you must sell all of them, right? You must sell all 65 of them.
No, not I wish. I'm
Okay.
working on that.
Got it. So talk about what's your dial strategy? How many times do you dial them? Do you text them? Like, what does that look like?
Okay, so previously, I was just buying 3-month-old, I'd get on at 7:30, dial my butt off, do like, average like 600 calls a day. But now with these, it's kind of, they want it more, so there's more intent, and you don't have to dial as much, because it seems like they pick up the phone more. Like, these guys are they're almost like waiting on it sometimes. And so nowadays I'm still waking up at 7:30. I'll dial my fresh batch that I got in from 8 to 11, and I'll take a break, maybe go get a coffee, and maybe I've been trying to recruit in the past 2 weeks. So I'll do that till 1, and then 1 to 4, I'll cycle through them again, and then wait till they get off work, and then 5 to 8, I'll dial them again.
Okay, so 3 dial sessions and you're triple dialing them, right?
Yeah.
Okay, got it. So a lot of times, Adam, people hang up on you. Do you call them back?
Oh yeah.
Okay, what do you say? So you call me, I hang up on you. You call me right back.
Yeah, I said, hey, not sure if something happened to our phone call, but I mean, where are we leaving off in the conversation?
Okay, so you call me and I say, no, thanks, Adam. Take me off the list. Click.
Yeah, say, hey, it's just my job to get that information out to you. Or if they say like, hey, already have it taken care of, perfect. That's exactly why I'm calling. It's just my job to get this information out to you that you requested. I have a 3 or 4:30. Which one of those works better for you?
3, I guess.
Okay, perfect. Can you grab a pen and paper?
Yep. So guys, that's really important too, because those are the things. So a lot of times when people are like, hey, why is this person doing better than me in the business? It's not because they're doing anything special. They're just doing things you're not willing to do. So like when people hang up on you, are you calling them back? Because Adam calls us back and he's like, hey, the phone got disconnected. I don't know what the heck. Or sometimes I call him back and I'm like, hey, Adam, I don't know why you hung up on me. But anyway, I got to finish getting this information out to you, right? Because the reality is like, that's all it takes, right? Sometimes it's the second or the third call that they decide to book. So Adam, for new agents that that might be really uncomfortable for, was that something that was uncomfortable for you or no?
Yeah, definitely. Because I know every new agent, regardless of who you are, you're not gonna want to call them back just because it's like taboo. I mean, I had one guy today. He said he wished my mom aborted me. So that was
Wow.
fun. Yeah.
And you
I
called him
mean,
back anyway?
what?
Did you call him back?
Oh yeah.
What did you say?
I was just like, trying to think what I said. I
You
said,
told me what you said, but I forgot.
yeah.
Okay.
But I kind of acted like it didn't happen, and then he said some more stuff, and then I said some stuff.
Got it. And
And
sometimes
let,
you win some, you lose some.
yeah, yeah.
But guys, what's crazy is like I've had clients that literally hang up on me, tell me to go screw myself. They call me all these nasty names. And I call those exact same clients a week later, and they're like the nicest people.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So guys, you've got to be willing to get kicked around a little bit. So, all right. So that's Adam's lead strategy. Brock, what's your lead strategy?
So since I got back from Builders Conference, I have been calling my old leads that I bought when I was a new agent.
Okay.
And since I was a new agent, I wasn't as skilled as I am now. So it's like they're fresh leads almost, except they're just a little bit older. But yeah, I mean, these are leads I bought in February. They're probably 1 to 3 month old leads. And so that means they're like 8 to 10 months old. So that's mostly what I've been working. I have bought like a small batch of Facebook final expense just to supplement it,
Okay.
just to get some extra appointments. But
So Brock, a lot of agents don't want to dial leads that are 8 to 10 months old because they think they're bad leads. So what's your mindset around that?
well, shout out to Alex because those are the leads he works, and he absolutely loves them. They're affordable, and they're people at the end of the day. And even most of them probably have insurance, and that's perfect because I can do the policy review. Um, if you know, and if you make enough dials, you're gonna come across someone that wants insurance. So it's all about just getting your dials in, really. You know.
Were you uncomfortable when you came here and Alex told you how to get leads at first, like to spend money or no?
Well, I mean, I dove straight in and I bought $1,000 worth of leads. There's a 70% discount at the time. So I got a bunch of 1 to 3 month old leads. And I actually believed in myself. You know, I was like, I'm willing to do this. I know I can be profitable on this. But yeah, I was comfortable doing it.
Yeah, that's
I
huge.
was uncomfortable like dialing the phone at first, for sure.
Yeah. So now, and guys, I think that's really a good point too, is like the leads that you bought when you're a brand new agent, or even the leads that you bought a week ago, or the leads that you bought 2 weeks ago, or 3 weeks ago, or 4 months ago, you've gotten better since then. So just because like you've gotten better, now you know how to overcome objections that these guys are like, hey, I didn't know how to overcome those 4 months ago, but now I can call them. And if the people give me the exact same objections, now I'm more equipped with my training and all my reps and my practice to overcome those. I can probably help some of those families. Is that fair to say, Brock?
Oh yeah, that's perfect.
Brock, what would you say is something that as a new agent, because you came in no experience, what would you say is something that like you struggled with or like a lesson that you learned that's now been able to help you be better?
Well, one thing that comes to mind is just being organized and definitely taking notes. Because if you plan on like working the same leads, you want notes. Like if you don't take notes, if you just move on to the next person without taking a note, there's nothing there. So it's like, I mean, because if they tell me they have insurance and they hang up, I'm like, okay, it's all right. Needs policy review. And I'll call them like 2 months later and say, hey, I'm just local manager here at the benefits office, trying to set up that policy review. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I try and set up the policy review 2 months later based off the previous information that I had previously recorded.
Got it. Keeping everything organized, your back office is organized, knowing who needs what, I think is huge because a lot of times we come in and we're just kind of like, we get thrown in the water and we're trying to swim and we're just like, all of our leads are everywhere. So guys, that's a big one, is staying organized, right? Making sure that you're on top of what you need to be on top of, taking notes if it's clients. Same things for like your own policies, checking your back offices, right? That was a big thing when I first came in, guys. I didn't even know that like my policies, when I wrote them, they go to like a back office. So checking on them. Did the clients get issue paid? Did they pay their premium? Do I need to call them and help them out? Do we need to change anything about their policy? Whatever it is. So organization, I think, is a huge one. All right. And Brock, what's your schedule?
Monday, Thursday, dial day. I have like 15 appointments for Tuesday, Wednesday. So
okay, so what happens if you don't, what do you do if you don't hit the 15 appointment goal?
then I'm out door knocking. That's what I did. Let's say Monday. That's what I did all Saturday because I didn't have a good dial day on Thursday, and so I had like only 4 appointments on Saturday. So I just door knocked the rest of the day, and booked some appointments for Tuesday, Wednesday. So yeah, I mean, activity is key. I remember when I was a new agent, there was always times throughout the day I was like, I could be working right now. And ever since I got back from the conference, there's definitely less of that. I'm staying busy, thinking of people who I can call. So yeah,
Are you
it's
guys,
a mindset change.
are you guys in competition with each other?
A little bit.
Yeah.
You guys trying to see who produces the most?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys. So we went to a conference in Dallas and you kind of got to see like a lot of the leaders on our team talk about building an agency and things like that. And when you came back, you kind of started to crush it. Was any part of that like, hey, I'm tired of seeing all these other average people do it. And I know I can do it. Like, why am I not just doing what they do?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And it was more of like, I want to make some money too. Like, like I need to hit 15,000. So
Yeah,
all the top agents are saying, like, you need to hit 15,000. And I've been in the business just long enough to see that that's actually factual.
yeah.
So yeah.
So it all made sense. And I think that was like a big realization factor for me too. And guys, I went through all the same stuff. Everyone on this call has gone through stuff where they're like, hey, there was times when I wasn't producing this, that, as much as I wanted to, times when I wasn't sacrificing what I need to, but eventually like I would go to convention, guys, and I'd be like, that person did this much and like is doing all this stuff with way more excuses than I have. Right. Like, I'd be like, dude, I'm complaining. Like, I'm saying I don't have time to work and I'm not sacrificing anything. And Erica's over here with 2 kids that she's, has by herself. And Sean's got 2 kids. And I'm like, these guys have whole families that they have to take care of. And I'm over here like, what? Right. So like, what's so cool about our business and what we do, guys, is that it's so simple and the formula is there. And eventually like you get tired of being like, how the heck did that guy do it? And it's like, all he did was do stuff that you weren't willing to do. He door knocked like Brock. He called people back like Adam. Like he did all this stuff. And like, you have the exact same recipe and you have the exact same tools. You just didn't want to do those things. Right. So like eventually I had that happen where I'm like, dude, I'm just tired of hearing all these other people are doing it when I have the same tools to make it happen. Right. So I'm glad that guys, I'm excited to see what you guys are going to do. So what is something, Adam, we'll go back to you. Adam, what's something like if you could give a brand new agent, like a piece of advice, like if they're like, hey, I want to do what these guys are doing. What's your advice?
Hello. Don't leave the home without getting their bank information.
Love that. Hey, and you guys are both in the home, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Why are you doing in-home and not telesales?
The control. You have like no control over the phone. But telesales is a skill. Like, I respect it, that's for sure. But I just like having so much control. Like, if they don't know their bank information at all, like there's so many things we can do to like help them get their banking information. We can also like call the carriers right in front of them. Like if they have insurance already, if they say they have a policy, we can help them find it. We just have so much control, and it's face to face, and they're less likely to kick me out. There's just mutual respect there because, I got a badge around my neck, and
Yeah,
I'm
they
there to
know
help.
they know you're there and you mean business. And I think it is they have a lot more grace with you. So when you say telesales, you don't have control, and you say telesales is a skill, like you really have to be a lot more on the ball when you're on the phone and you don't have as much grace. And like if someone, like you said, if someone says, hey, I can't find my policy, you can be like, I'll help you look for it. Or, hey, I can't do this right now. You're like, I'm already here. Whereas like on the phone, it's so I think, guys, that's kind of Brock's advice and Adam's advice and our advice is like, if something's not working for you guys on the phone, there's nothing wrong with getting in your car and going and driving out to a couple appointments. Like get in your car, right? You have air conditioner in your car, probably. It's not the worst thing in the world. Like get in your car and go out and run some appointments so that you can get better at the skills that you need to either switch to the phone later or not switch to the phone at all, right? There's been a lot of people that are just like you guys, where they're like, hey, I tried it over the phone, and like props to the Ericas and the Coles and the Riads who can like master this thing. But you get so much more grace and so much more ability to connect with your clients when you're in the home. Right. So guys, that's my advice to you. If you're crushing it on the phone, stay on the phone, right? If you're Erica, Riyadh, I know Diego, Desi, like all those guys, if you're doing it, stay doing it. And if you're committed to that, stay committed to that. But if you're like, hey, I'd really kind of like to just up my sales and really get the feel for these things, like nothing wrong with rocking out into the home for a couple days. So, all right. So I love that, guys. Adam, you're always on live dials. Okay. I feel like I talk about all the time how important it is to be plugged into live dials, the agency calls, the team calls. How important do you think that is?
It might be the most important thing there is besides buying leads. I think it just helps with the culture, you get to know people. And, especially after the conference, being able to put faces to names was pretty cool. And there's always coaching 24/7. I think you were, I heard you at like 6 p.m. talking to, I don't know her name, but yeah, that was pretty cool. And especially it's get on at 7:30 a.m.
If you're Eastern.
Yeah, shout out to AP for that. Definitely helps with accountability and responsibility.
Yeah.
7:30 sharp.
I love that. And Alex is in the group chat, like sending you guys a chat, like if you don't get on here at 7:30, like you're off the agency. I know he gets crazy about that, but that's why we love him. But guys, seriously though, and to be honest, like I say this every week and I think people think I'm messing around. Guys, the top producing agents in our agency and every single agency, as much as you want to be independent, and we are independent, which is awesome. The top producing agents in our team and every other team are the agents that are the most plugged in. Every single person on that top 6 on that leaderboard, Adam, Brock, when you guys saw Desi putting up those numbers, Digna putting up those numbers, Riyadh putting up those numbers, all those people are on. Tyler Green with 31 families. Those are the people that get on live dials. So it's always crazy to me, Adam and Brock, when I'm like, hey guys, the top producing agents, they just get on live dials. And people are like, I want to be a top producer, but I want to do it on my own. Right? Like it's hard. It's hard to do it on your own when you can get on and get coaching and be around your team. Right? Am I right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I went through a streak of that a little bit. And Alex was just like, dude, what are you doing?
Like get on with your team.
Yeah.
So he had to get you back. What was the reason, do you think, Adam, that you didn't want to be on live dials?
I don't know, maybe laziness, to be honest. But
like you almost didn't want to be held accountable, right? Like you're like, if I get on live dials, they'll know when I got off.
Yeah. And it's lonely without everybody.
Yeah. And I love that. And that's honestly like a straight up and honest answer, guys. Some of us are like, hey, I want to talk about all these goals I have, but like, I actually don't want anybody to hold me accountable, because if I get on, they're going to know when I got off. And guys, that's the point. Like when I'm on dials and I'm actually like, I'm like, shoot, everyone's looking at me like I got to do it. I should make a couple dials. I need to call some recruits. Like I need to do this. It's the point of having that like friendly, positive peer pressure, right? Like you hear all these people dialing, you're not going to not dial. right? So I think that's a great answer. Some of you aren't getting on because you're uncomfortable, and that's fair, and we'll help you with that. And some of us aren't getting on because you're like, I don't want anyone to hold me accountable, which is fair. And that takes some like self-reflection to be able to do that. All right, guys, you guys have been phenomenal. I'm excited for you guys. I think what's so awesome about what you guys do is like, we love you, but like, you're just two regular dudes. And like anyone who can see this is like, dude, all they did is plug into the system and be able to have some real talk and reflection of themselves of like, hey, we can do this. Like, there's no reason we can't do 15 in a month. We just need to buckle down and do it and follow the system. Do you guys think there's any secret cheat codes, or is it just buy the leads, dial the phone, and go to the families?
That's it. You couldn't have said it better.
Yeah, leads, appointments, sales. It's a cycle.
Yeah, and definitely influence as a group. There's not a better group out there. The culture's the best, and
yeah, we talk to Alex every day. Alex actually is a cheat code because of his positivity. Like, it's unreal. This guy, he can turn any negative into a positive, and
tell you why you're wrong about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. And it's funny how you get to see like who recruits who and who works with who. Because I feel like in a lot of ways, you guys are like two little mini Alex Perazzas. Like, you say the same things, you have the same mannerisms, like it makes total sense. But that's true. And that's what we love about that is like, I think it's great that Alex's agency is called FFL Influence, but that's exactly what he does. Right? Like, if the influence that you're in is people that are complaining, guess what you're gonna do? You're gonna complain. If the people that are influencing you are whining about leads, guess what you're going to do? You're going to whine about leads. Guess what? If the people you hang out with don't sell anything, you're probably not going to sell anything. So I think the name Influence and the agency that you guys work with is awesome. But I think also just that concept in general of like, who's in your circle? Who are you talking to? Who's holding you accountable? Like, who are the people that are like speaking into your life every single day? And that's obviously made a big difference for you guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right, guys, anything you want to leave us with? Anything I left out?
Nothing new, but you can't talk about it enough. It's just buy the leads and dial them, because if you don't book your appointments, then you're going to be homeless for 2 days
and get uncomfortable, right?
Yeah. Get comfortable with being uncomfortable.
I love that. Brock, what do you got?
Our job is setting appointments. Like, our job isn't like, these are people that need our help. They need us. We provide something very valuable. I believe so much in the products that we sell. I hope you all do as well, but yeah, just.
I love that.
Yeah.
Simple as that, guys. So we have the best products, we have the best comp, we have the best leads, like everything you could need to go out and make this thing happen. We have the best influence. We have a ton of great managers, leaders, everything we got it here. Like, all you got to do is put all the pieces together, right?
Yeah.
All right, guys, I'm proud of you guys. I'm excited to see what you finish at the end of the month. We have a little bet going on, guys. I told Brock and Adam that if they both do 30, they get a very cool prize from me, Toby, and Peraza. So let's all root them on that they're going to meet that. And if you guys have any questions about anything, you guys reach out. But guys, simple as that. Some of you guys have, if you're on the West Coast right now, you have a lot of time left to dial. So take what you learned from the Tuttle brothers tonight about income producing activities, and when you don't want to work, how important it is to pick up the phone. So you guys are the best, and thanks so much.
Thanks.